this stream. What I have today is Juncal Solano. She is from the Charro Politico. Charro. That's that outfit that guy has on. And that's the name of her channel. She's very good at her job, very quick-witted, and she cracks me up because she reminds me of my cousin Vilma. But anyway, here's a video that she did today, and it's kind of what I had already thought of, and I had already started to do a video, but I'm going to go ahead and use hers because she got some good video footage from a friend. Anyway, so here goes. So they were yelling, "We want to get in, we want to get in." Let me just go a little bit further, right there. So she says, today things are getting crazy. And here's what you didn't see during the morning meeting, what they did not show. Now this was before the morning conference that this stuff was occurring. So she's gonna let you see. Okay.
Y es que resulta que quisieron entrar, mandaron a presidentes municipales, inclusive a líderes políticos del PRI.
So she said that they sent doggone it. So they sent political leaders from the PRI group, which is the equivalent of, say, the Republican Party. And so also they had some there from the PAN and the PRD, which is like the comparable to the Democratic Party. And Andrés Manuel López Obrador has his own party, which is Morena, which was the independent party. And so they're kind of all at odds with each other right now. But here's why. So all these leaders from governors and all this from other states came and showed up today at the palace, and this is what she says. And so they simulated like they were throwing artifacts that were bombs or something like that, but they were just firecrackers. So they were trying to scare all the people that were inside the conference. So she says the problem here is what happened and why all of a sudden are they... So why today do they begin these protests? So yesterday, Alfonso Hens, the guy that's in charge of the taxes, announced that they're going to be doing some investigations. So they were checking on the infiltration of political leaders that were being infiltrated. And they had people that were identified as being from Washington, from the U.S. And they were in our country. And they were working with political groups in Mexico. And so this was the investigation that they were about to start. And apparently they didn't like this very much. So then they gathered up all their cronies and sent them to go to the presidential palace. So they sent them to create a disturbance outside of the palace. Because they were trying to scare the president, Manuel López Obrador, and to make him feel like his life was in danger. after what happened in that city of Sinaloa, the confrontations that happened there. Trying to match her size here. Okay, let's go here.
El día 17 de octubre de
And so all of that happened on the 17th of October,
la semana pasada. Pues bien,
last week.
arrancamos con la información y mucho ojo, porque nuevamente aparece la oposición choricera queriendo asustar a López Obrador y
So she says,
agradable con tal de proteger a los gringos. Pues bien, arrancamos
so
con
she
la
says,
información
pay
y vamos a ver
attention
el
because the groups got together to trying to protect the gringos, which is the Americans, the U.S. the U.S. people that they're working for.
video a continuación que nos compartió nuestra amiga Sandy Aguilera que
So Sandy Aguilera is the one who shared this video regarding what happened outside the palace. She took video.
aparece todos los días en la mañanera. Pues bien,
And she goes every day to the morning conference. So there's the video. So they were like trying to get in the door.
Esta era la puerta del Palacio Nacional, aquí podemos ver a todos los periodistas, inclusive aquí se alcanza a ver Lord Molecula.
And you could see Lord Molecula was outside of there too. That was in the morning before the conference.
El señor Pozos, bueno, mejor conocido como Lord Molecula en redes sociales, y esto fue lo que puso Sandy, quieren tirar la puerta, qué miedo.
So Sandy said, they want to knock down the door, I'm scared.
Y luego comparte Nacho Rodríguez, mejor conocido como el Chapucero, preocupante video de...
So Nacho Rodriguez, el Chapucero, said this was a very worrisome video that Sandy Aguilera did regarding them trying to break down the door.
De Sandy Aguilera, quieren tirar la puerta del Palacio Nacional. ¿Quién era? ¿De quién se trataba? Pues bueno.
So who was it? And who were they talking about? Who was it that was outdoors doing that?
Ya sabemos que salió a relucir pues que se trataba de la oposición choricera.
But of course then they found out that it was the opposers, the ones that are always opposing AMLO.
Principalmente PRI, PAN y PRD.
So it was the PRI, the PAN, and the PRD. So those are the three other political parties.
¿Con cuál pretexto? ¿Qué
So what was the pretext, quote unquote?
simulación? Bueno,
Or what was the simulation?
ellos aseguraban que estaban protestando y se habían puesto un tanto agresivos.
So they assured that they were protesting and that they got a little bit aggressive
Dado a que querían más dinero por parte del presidente
because they wanted more money from the president for their...
Manuel López Obrador. Alguien ingenuo, alguien que no conoce
So they wanted more money for their budget.
la situación, pues tal vez se las hubiera comprado.
But she said someone that was maybe a little more naive might have believed them.
Lo que van a salir a decir los medios tradicionales.
And that might be what the media, the press that covers their butts might be saying something like that.
Que el presidente no les está dando dinero a los partidos.
So she says that they're going to say, or they're trying to say that the president is not giving money to the parties
Ni a los presidentes municipales.
and or to the municipal presidents.
Lo que pasa que es, bueno, pues el día de ayer,
So, but what really is happening is that yesterday,
Alejandro Germanero salió a
Alejandro Germaneros,
decir que va a investigar la injerencia que realmente tiene
and he's going to be investigating what suggestion that they had
en
that
Estados Unidos. Aquí en México, pues
that the U.S. has people working here in Mexico
asegura que tanto tienen comprados como a
and that they've bought governors
gobernadores como a presidentes
and presidents
municipales.
of the municipalities.
Un ejemplo claro, lo que se dio a conocer hace unos días.
And one of the clear examples was what they let be known last week with what occurred in Culiacan, Mexico.
Referente al gobernador de dicho estado donde se vieron los enfrentamientos.
So they had spoken to the governor there that had been there with when the confrontation
y
happened.
donde pues se vio la liberación del hijo de Guzmán.
And that's where we saw the liberation of Guzman, Chapo Guzman's son.
Entonces, al ver que ya va a haber trabas ante esto, pues empezaron a generar disturbios.
So because they knew there was going to be problems now with this situation, they started to generate disturbances.
Alcaldes del PRI, PAN y PRD se unen y protestan en Palacio Nacional antes de la mañanera. Exigen más dinero.
So that they met in the morning in front of the palace and they were demanding more money. That's why they were breaking down the door.
Bueno, como repito, esto fue lo que nos quisieron vender.
So that's the bill of goods they tried to sell us.
Esto fue con lo que nos quisieron engañar.
And that's what they tried to fool us with.
Pero te voy a presentar lo siguiente.
But let me show you the following.
Y es que el día de ayer Alejandro Gertz Manero, pues
So yesterday, Alejandro Gertz Manero, he's the fiscal general or the district attorney general of the Republic.
anunció que iba a revisar porque efectivamente tanto hay
So he announced that they're going to be reviewing, examining
gobernadores como presidentes
the governors and the municipal presidents,
municipales que no le están trabajando a López Obrador,
because they are not actually working for the actual president, the Mexican president, López Obrador,
sino que le están trabajando al gobierno de Estados Unidos,
but instead they are working for the government of the United States,
principalmente a estos entes de seguridad,
especially and particularly to these supposed centers of security.
y lo hago entre comillas,
And I do it inside quotes
porque sabemos que en realidad no es seguridad, sino
because we actually know it's not actually security,
control como la de Apoyen.
but it's more of a control that's being done by the DEA.
Vamos a ver el video a continuación.
So now we're going to see the video.
En el mes de septiembre, el gobierno de los Estados Unidos pidió una detención con
So in the month of September, the government of the United States requested the detention
fines de extradición para este individuo.
that they wanted to extradite this individual, the one that Chapo Guzman's son.
Esa petición se turna a través de la Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores.
So this information was received from the Secretary of External Relations, which I believe is Abrat.
Y la tiene la Fiscalía General de la República
And the District Attorney of the Republic has it.
junto con otro grupo de extradiciones.
And along with other requests for extraditions in the group.
Déjenme darles un dato que es muy importante.
So now they want to give a piece of data that is very relevant or important.
Nosotros en este año
We, this year alone,
hemos prácticamente hecho una extradición cada semana.
we have done an extradition every week.
Cada semana durante todo el año.
This, every week during this whole year.
Extradiciones fundamentalmente hacia los Estados Unidos y hacia
And these were extraditions fundamentally to the United States and other foreign agencies.
otros países.
Pues bien, esto fue lo que dijo Alejandro Gertz Manero, donde también un poco más adelante asegura que no va a permitir que exista injerencia de cuerpos policíacos, cuerpos de seguridad extranjeros. Vamos a ver un poco más adelante.
Recibiendo ya las denuncias, vamos a iniciar un procedimiento muy claro y muy transparente.
So he says now we're going to be doing some procedures and we're going to send a message that's very clear
Y muy preciso.
and very precise.
Esto no va a ser otro Ayotzinapa, se los digo
And this will not be another case of something hidden.
con esa claridad.
And I'm saying it with this amount of clarity.
Aquí se van a establecer las responsabilidades con toda precisión,
Here we're going to establish the responsibilities with all precision,
con todo apego a la ley y
with all adherence to the law,
con toda transparencia.
and with all transparency.
Ahora, vamos a continuar con este video que yo les había mostrado al Carmen Aristegui, donde se entrevista al periodista que fue el primero en dar a conocer la reunión que hubo entre el gobernador de dicho.
So here she's going to be sharing the video from Aristegui where they announced the meeting between the governor
Estado con la DEA.
with the DEA.
Vamos a ver el video.
And now we're going to see that video.
Pues imposible no recuperar esto que publicaste en su momento. Ahora, con este contexto de cosas, ¿qué importancia le damos a lo que tú supiste y publicaste?
So what importance can we give to what you learned and publicized? So a lot of people are asking themselves, why did they meet? What was the operation? Why was the DEA there? Yes, it was very evident that they were meeting with them. We found out about the meeting they were having with the governor and the DEA. Hi. Wait, hold on. I was recording. Oh, it's okay. How you doing? I think I'm able to pause it. I hope. How you doing? You want to go in and get some?
Yes, I'm not going
It's
to
okay.
go.
Okay. Well, I'm in the middle of it, and I gotta get back to it real quick because it's live. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So we met and we got together, and it was not published yet.
El área de información del gobierno del estado boletinó la reunión y publicó algunas fotos. De hecho, nosotros cuando subimos la nota pusimos una foto de archivo del área, nosotros no teníamos.
So when they met, they put some paperwork regarding the DEA to show that they had been there.
Imágenes de esa reunión.
And there was images of the meeting.
Se explicó en el boletín y luego lo confirmó el gobernador y el ministro pues que la reunión había sido para labores de coordinación.
So they said that the meeting had been regarding some coordination.
Para que la DEA estuviera enterada que Sinaloa estaba bajando los índices delictivos, homicidios.
That it had to do with some homicides and someone they were after in Sinaloa.
Que se habían destruido, asegurado 6 laboratorios para drogas sintéticas.
And that they had destroyed some laboratories for drugs, creating drugs.
Que se estaban utilizando adecuadamente los drones y que habían otros.
Fíjense nada más.
And that they were getting them some drones they were utilizing.
O sea, ¿cómo es posible? Y esto es evidente. ¿Cómo
So how is it possible, and this is evidentiary,
un gobernador le da explicaciones?
so why is a governor of Mexico giving explanations to the DEA of the U.S.,
A una autoridad extranjera.
a foreign government's department?
Pide dinero a la
And they're asking for money from that authority,
autoridad extranjera, como
from this foreign government,
sale en este video.
the way they say it in this video.
Entonces, más adelante el periodista menciona que así como sucede en este estado,
So ahead, the pre-person is going to mention how they, the way it happens in this state, it happens in many states.
hay varios estados que están iguales, que le dan, que reciben dinero de forma directa a
That they receive money directly from the U.S.
cambio de serle fieles a ellos. Sin
in exchange for being faithful to them.
embargo, ya salió de manera que se va a investigar la injerencia por parte de estos grupos.
So Hertz Manero said that they're going to be investigating what this group has said.
Por parte de esta organización y también por parte de los gobernadores que están aceptando esto, porque eso también puede ser un delito. A ver,
But this will also be because this can be considered a crime.
¿cómo es posible que tú estés aceptando dinero
And how can they be accepting money
por parte de un organismo internacional
from an international organism
y si ni siquiera des aviso, esté
and they don't even notify,
recibiendo cosas de ellos y ni siquiera des
and they're receiving things from them,
informe. Entonces,
and they don't inform the government here.
aquí hay algo muy interesante.
So here's something very interesting.
Ante esto mismo, López Obrador anuncia que efectivamente se trató de un cuatro, se trató de una trampa.
And he said that Andrés Manuel López Obrador said that it had been a case of entrapment.
Y es necesario investigar quién está detrás de todo
And they want to find out who is behind the whole thing.
esto, porque este es solo un gobernador.
Because this is only a governor that admitted to this.
Detrás de esto hay toda una red. ¿Por qué?
And behind this is a whole web.
Bueno, pues te platico que justamente los partidos que el día de hoy quisieron causar
So because the parties that today went and did all that banging on the doors and putting those firecrackers were the ones that were behind El Chapo. It said, if you read that, it says El Chapo, Calderón, Peña, y los agentes del DEA. So that's putting all of them together. Chapo, Calderón, Peña, and the agents of the DEA, I guess, had a meeting. Let's see.
Usar disturbios afuera del Palacio Nacional. Quisieron asustar al presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Resulta que
And so they created a disturbance outside the palace in the morning before the meeting to try to scare López Obrador.
son los mismos que fueron cómplices de narcotraficantes,
So they were the same ones that were accomplices for narcotic trafficking.
que fueron también inclusive agentes de la DEA y
And they were also agents of the DEA.
dice, aquí menciona el nombre de Guzmán, Calderón y Peña Nieto.
So here they mention the name of Guzman, Calderón, Peña, and the DEA.
Y los agentes de la DEA. Los agentes de la DEA, entonces menciona que ellos también llegaron a trabajar a la DEA.
So here they mention that they were also working for the DEA.
Inclusive salió a relucir que Enrique Peña Nieto le trabajaba y le daba información a la DEA.
And it was also noted that Enrique Peña Nieto was working for the DEA and did give information to them.
Así como hoy se descubrió que lo hace el gobernador de
The same way that they found out today that the governor from Sinaloa has been doing the same thing, working for the DEA.
Sinaloa. Entonces, curiosamente, se les está cayendo este tratito, curiosamente se les está acabando este negocio como aquí
So all of a sudden their little business is coming to an end.
se menciona, como aquí lo mencionaron con Carmen Aristegui, que reciben inclusive dinero.
So Carmen Aristegui, in her show, they verbally said that they were actually receiving money from the DEA and the U.S. government.
Y pues por eso van a causar disturbios. Vamos a
And that's why they are causing the disturbances.
escuchar el video de López Obrador.
Era detener la posibilidad de un cambio verdadero.
So what they were trying to do was hold back the possibility of a true change
En el país.
in our country.
¿Poniendo un 4 a usted, presidente? Pero si fue esa la intención.
Yes, it appeared that they were trying to trap him. And if that was their intention,
Como dicen los abogados, aceptando sin conceder.
but let's say, as an attorney would say, to accept without conceding,
Nos hicieron lo que el viento a Juárez.
Pues bien, este
so they did what they had done to Mr. Juarez before.
fue lo que dijo López Obrador. Efectivamente se trató de una trampa y está saliendo más y más información.
And so obviously they found out that it was a trap, and there's a lot more information coming out about this.
Y no solamente eso, si tú tenías dudas,
But not only that, if in case you had any doubts, look at this.
sigues creyendo que no hay injerencia por parte de la DEA y no quiere meterle presión a López Obrador.
If you wanted to see that and believe that there was no involvement, take a look at this regarding the situation and with the criminals.
Para que deje de estarle rascando y permita que los gobernadores le sigan trabajando a cambio de dinero, a cambio de información.
So do you think it's proper that the governors and officials should be working for the U.S. government, giving them information and basically working for them, answering to them
a cambio de poder.
in exchange for power.
Lo dijo lo siguiente, esto lo compartió Vicente Serrano de Sin Censura.
So this one was shared by Vicente Serrano from Sin Censura.
El ex jefe de operaciones de inteligencia de la DEA, Jack Ryan, aseguró
So the ex-chief of operations of the DEA, Riley,
que al avalar que se frenara el operativo de
that they were trying to stop the operation,
captura de Guzmán, López Obrador le dio a entender a los criminales que ellos son los que mandan.
that because López Obrador allowed that guy to go free, that he gave the criminals the idea that now they're in charge.
Entonces, díganme ustedes si no hay por parte de la DEA injerencia para presionar a López Obrador.
So doesn't it seem to you that the DEA is trying to pressure López Obrador
Para que deje de mover, para que se rinda y se doble al igual que un Enrique Peña
because they want him to bend and take it the way Enrique Peña Nieto did,
Nieto y un Felipe Calderón
and the way Felipe Calderón did too.
les trabaje y le trabaje a la DEA como lo hicieron
And they want him to work for the DEA the way the other presidents did.
estos expresidentes. Por supuesto, a ver, ¿qué tiene que hacer el exdirector de la DEA diciéndole, aconsejando?
So what business is it, or why should the ex-agent of the DEA be saying that AMLO made a mistake, that he made a pact with the devil in Sinaloa? That's what that's what he said regarding this, that he let go the son of Chapo.
No, no aconsejando, inclusive hasta mandando o señalando o diciéndole a López Obrador en lo que se equivocó. ¿Verdad?
So he wasn't just signaling, he was like telling him, hey, you made a mistake, literally, like telling him what to do.
No se supone que somos una república independiente soberana
But isn't it supposed to be that we're an independent republic?
y autónoma. Pues bueno,
Aren't we autonomous?
bueno, aquí parece entender que en años pasados no era así realmente.
Well, here it appears that in the past few years it was not actually the case.
Estados Unidos mandaba sobre México y ahora
And the United States was governing Mexico.
los traen, andan calentados porque
And now they're angry
están viendo que están a punto de perder un negocio,
because they're starting to see that they're about to lose a very juicy deal.
un negocio millonario que era México.
That was a millionaire business, which was Mexico.
Pues bien, ya para concluir cerramos con lo siguiente. López Obrador
So we're going to close with the following. López Obrador affirms that he does not think it's important that they critique him regarding his decision in Sinaloa.
no le importan las críticas por decisión de lo que pasó en ese estado la semana pasada. Entonces vemos que hay presiones, vemos que hay acarreados inclusive por parte de la DEA y son estos partidos.
So there are people that are working for the DEA, which are PRI, PAN, and PRD, and they're protesting, and they're saying they're asking for more money, but they know that it's because they're working for the DEA.
Que toda la vida se han vendido porque les preocupa a los presidentes municipales dejar de recibir dinero por parte
Because they're worried now that they're going to have to stop receiving money from the DEA.
de esta organización, porque repito, así como son gobernadores también son presidentes municipales y el
But it's not just the governors, it's also the municipal presidents that are doing it.
de que no les dan presupuesto, esa no se las creo.
And so when they're saying that they're not getting any budget, that we don't believe.
Desde hace mucho se dio a conocer el paquete económico, desde hace mucho se dio a conocer cuánto se decía,
They've known the budget for a very long time. And so they hadn't complained before. Why all of a sudden now?
¿verdad? Y no habían dicho absolutamente nada.
So they hadn't said a single word.
Se empieza a indagar y se empiezan a cerrar.
So all of a sudden when the doors are closing for them regarding this juicy deal they had,
Pues esos caminos y empiezan a cerrar la llave a la DEA
and so they're starting to close the door on the DEA
para que pueda seguir comprando a los políticos aquí
so that they won't continue to buy our political officials.
en México ahora sí causan disturbios en palacios.
And so they won't control our people here in Mexico. All of a sudden they cause disturbances at the palace. The actual presidents and governors were the ones that were causing a disturbance at the palace.
Nacional. Pues bien, por eso concluimos el video del día de hoy. Déjame tú los comentarios qué opinas al respecto.
Okay.
Yo soy Juncal Solano y nos vemos hasta la próxima.
I'm telling you, this girl is awesome. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you, that's what's going on in Mexico. And that is all related to the Chapo Guzman thing. That they found out that it was related to actually a DEA thing. And so that's where we're going around with this thing in Mexico. Thanks a lot. Bye.